Hi guys, today I'm going to have a little chat about 4 books that I've read recently. I haven't had a chance to upload videos for each book. I've been very busy, so I thought I'll do them in bulk. I thought I'd keep it a little bit shorter, a little bit more concise, but hopefully give you a taste of what each one is about. The first book that I am going to talk about is The Boy Who Lived with Dragons. This is a book by Andy Shepherd. This is the follow-up to her book, The Boy Who Grew Dragons. Essentially, it's a light-hearted and funny story centering around a group of 4 primary school children who, I won't ruin the first book, through strange circumstances have found that they've each got their own pet dragon. Now, in the first book, they found these dragons and took them in. And what the second book focuses on really is how these children are actually going to live with their pet dragons. How are they going to look after them when they're at school? How are they going to stop these dragons from ruining their house? How are they going to stop these dragons from getting them into trouble? They've got a nemesis who may well have got his hands on a dragon of his own, and the story has some really interesting toing and froing there. It's obviously a bit far-fetched as a concept, but has some themes running through it that I'm sure plenty can relate to from their primary school days or from schools they work in. So I won't go into too much detail. It's a good read. I'd say it's targeted at year 3, year 4, probably later year 3 read, early year 4. It would be a good class read in year 3, but very enjoyable. The Boy Who Lived with Dragons. Next book I'm going to talk about today is a book that has been very popular online. It was released recently. I believe it was released about 2 weeks ago by Osborne Publishing. I was sent a pre-release copy or an early copy, so I had my hands on it a few weeks before. And I really enjoyed it. It's a fantastic book just from the front cover alone. It's really eye-catching, and it's actually in a hardback format. So if you take the sleeve off, before I talk about the content of the book, it has a truly stunning sort of cover underneath the sleeve, which, as you look a little bit closer and as you find your way through the story, a lot of the imagery on that cover will begin to make sense. Just pop the sleeve back on now so we can talk about it in a little bit more detail. Now, what I really liked about this book, The Train to Impossible Places, was the way that Peter Bell, was able to combine quite a silly and far-fetched idea with some unbelievably complex and rich vocabulary. The book really focuses around, or really starts, when a young girl hears she's gone upstairs to bed, her parents have stayed downstairs watching some TV, her parents have fallen asleep on the sofa, and she hears some clattering in the middle of the night, she hears some banging, she tentatively walks downstairs, opens the lounge or the living room door, and she sees a train, a full-size train in her living room, and this is ridiculous, this absolutely ridiculous concept. But what emerges is this train has some magical and mythical powers and has the ability to transform the environment that it's in, to almost change the scale of things, so it sort of fits into places that it wouldn't otherwise. The train is operated by trolls. The main girl, I'm trying to remember her name off the top of my head, Susie. The main girl, Susie, she finds herself whisked away on this train. She wasn't really meant to be on it, but she was so intrigued, she hopped on board. And the book follows her sort of journey of exploration, her journey to try and help good prevail over evil. There's a character called Lady Crepuscular, who seems like quite a sinister character. There's a bit of a plot to take over the kingdom, and Susie's going to do her bit to help. Susie's a very independent girl who is driven by maths and science, so there's lots of references to that in this book, which I think, again, will be very interesting and could be somehow incorporated into a classroom. Really good story. I uploaded lots and lots of extracts of it online, really because I was so impressed with the vocabulary choices in this book. Rich choices, complex word choices that I think would be used as very nice examples in the classroom. Next book I'm going to go on to, and sorry I'm whizzing through it, is Ariki and the Giant Shark. This is a Nicola Davis book. This is a book I would certainly say, you can have a look just at the sort of word spread there. This is the book I'd say that would be a very good Year 3 class read. It would be a good Year 3 independent read for the more able Year 3 readers, and certainly one that could be taken into Year 4. This focuses around a young girl called Ariki, Ariki lives on an island. I can't remember exactly where the island is, but we're talking about sort of like Fiji, Tonga, that sort of area, sort of tribal island. She has washed up on the island as an orphan. She's slightly different to everyone else, so she looks a bit different. And people are a bit cynical towards her for that reason. Essentially, the island has not had the right weather conditions to thrive economically. They are short of food. There's a lot of trouble as to how they are going to survive the following season. And some sharks are circling the island. People are thinking that this could perhaps be a great food source, but Ariki feels, and they're a bit worried about this shark herself, as they think it's a sort of menacing creature that's going to cause harm. But Ariki, a girl who's spent a long time in the sea, and a lot of her most comfortable times are spent in the sea, she knows that this shark is good. She knows that it needs protecting, and she has, through discovering a mural in a local cave, she's realised that the shark is in fact pregnant and going to be giving birth to various young sharks in the next few days. So it's a bit of a race against time, really. Can Ariki help guide this shark to safety? Can Ariki keep the rest of the community at bay, and can she prove to them that the good in these animals is there and that they should not be slaughtered? Now, lots of animal sort of welfare themes in this book are dripped through in a very soft way, which is very, very nice. It's also, as I mentioned, got messages of inclusivity, not judging people for their looks, not judging people for being different, and lots of beautiful, beautiful imagery in the book. This would just be one example there. I'll whiz on to the last book, which is a book called Walls by Emma Fishel. I'm a bit of a sucker for the books with the sprayed edges. I must admit that catches my eye and certainly excites children in my class. When I bring in a book like that and say, this is what I'm reading, it does seem to get a reaction there. And I know a lot of people have been taken aback by Lightning Girl and those sort of books with that, that feature. Now, Walls is a strange book, really. It essentially focuses on a young boy called Ned Arkle Smith. Now, Ned, although we're not mentioned as much, they don't specifically highlight it. It seems to me that Ned is a boy that is probably on the autistic spectrum. Ned is having, he sees the world in quite a different way to other people, and that isn't necessarily helped by the situation that he's found himself in his family life. His mother and father have split. They did a temporary split in where the father moved out and rented a property, but what they've decided is the father's going to move back in, but what they're going to do is split their house bang down the middle. So there'll be essentially the children's bedrooms at the top, and then two doors at the bottom of the corridor or the bottom of the hallway, one to the mother's side of the house, one to the father's, and the children will spend a week at a time either with the mother or the father, and those the respective doors will be closed when they're with the other parent. Now, this is incredibly difficult for Ned. He just wants his family to be together. He wants things as they were, and this adjustment is very, very tough for him. That also isn't helped by the fact that he's having real issues with his best friend. He sort of instantly clicked a friendship with a new boy that appeared at his school the previous year, and they were sort of thick as thieves. But over the course of the summer holidays, Ned had been spending time away from the area. His good friend had made other friends, and Ned was finding it very, very hard to adjust. He wanted that friendship to be as it was. I think his friend realised that it probably wasn't the healthiest, and he wanted to be himself a bit more, whereas Ned was acting as a very sort of controlling influence on him. So the book follows sort of Ned's journey of, I guess, discovery about himself, about how to treat others, about how to be a good friend, but also follows his ability and journey to adjust to changing family circumstances. At first, it's very, very hard for him. He wants his parents to be together, as I say, and in his mind, why can't things just go back to as they were? But they can't, and as the book evolves, we find I've personally found it very, very gripping, seeing how he adjusted and how how his life did adapt to changing circumstances. I think this book would have some very lovely messages for children, perhaps in a similar situation. I think, again, messages of how to be a good friend, how to play well with others, but also how to be a good sibling. Ned's family was often his relationship with his sisters was highlighted here, and that was something to look at. I think talking about how that process of separation between parents works, how that isn't the end of the world for people. I know lots of children in my class, in other classes where this has happened, and is finding ways to contextualise that, and yeah, I think through a story like this that could be really useful. As I say, really enjoyed that one. Walls by Emma Fishel. I won't go on forever because I could talk about these books for a good while longer, but I thought hopefully, I just grabbed the 4 of them for you, hopefully that will give you a little bit of an insight into what I've been reading recently. A real range of books, over a real range of sort of age groups, but those are the 4 I've read recently. Hopefully I can pop the book review of the next book I'm reading up a little bit sooner, and I'll try and do that as an independent one. That's the Guggenheim Mystery. It's being written by Robin Stevens in the style, very much in the style of the late Siobhan Dowd. So yeah, have a nice day. If you like the video, I'll be very, very grateful if you liked it. Always looking to grow the channel, so please do hit subscribe if you feel this is the sort of thing you'd like to watch a bit more of. Cheers, guys.